You know what? I need to send a little note to my people in the WhatsApp so they can do something with they Saturday on today. Because if you're like, yeah, social media, yeah, I see people making millions of dollars or people got followers and I know I need to be on social. If that's still your attitude, especially if you're over the age of 30 and you've not gotten serious about leveraging this tool, social media is the greatest opportunity in human history. If you want to get off the financial grid, you want to escape the matrix, let us get ourselves together on this in these social media streets. Today, I'm giving you the whole philosophy. I'm here to change your perspective about what's possible with social media. So you can stop battling this resistance. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'll post sometime. Oh, we're mastering this skill so we can get off the financial grid. But first, you already know what time it is. It's time to bring in the Zoom. Y'all ready? Bringing in the Zoom. Bringing in the Zoom. Bringing in the Zoom. Okay. Well, good morning, good evening. What to do? How are you? Who do you? Happy Saturday too. I am the sound of money in your ear. Dollar Avant. That's still double O. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion babe, aka the pitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, it is day 66. Okay, 66 is day 66 of this 100-day challenge. And we're going to get our financial lives today by mastering social media. So, what I'm going to do for just a little bit, I'm going to go in and do Saturday school on WhatsApp as well, just for a second, for some little bit of time. And I'm gonna invite people to join me on, over here. You need to be streaming on YouTube, doing something. Shout out to y'all. But we don't have time. We don't have time because we've officially entered. Let me get started. Well, good morning, good evening. What to do? How are you? Hootie hoo. Happy Saturday too. I am the sound of money in your ear. Dollar About this deal double O. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. Call me the $1 billion babe, aka the bitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of the OGs. Over here, we're getting off the financial grid. Let me tell you why I'm doing a special episode of Saturday School. Everybody's streaming. We got Zoom. You're here on WhatsApp. You need to be over here streaming or on the Zoom. But anyway, y'all listen. We've officially entered the era where they are not telling us what's really going on. We're in war. It's just a war. It's not a war. It's not. We're at war. They're not reporting what's happening. So military bases are some definitely major radar systems and defense systems, but some of the actual military bases, U.S., have been destroyed. They're not telling you that. They're like, oh, everything is fine. It's fine. It's not fine. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, our life, our flow of income in our business, stack some money so we can get some land, somewhere to live that we control. Because I'm telling you, when things get different, when things go left, your potential customers and these corporations that you're partnering with and working with, some of that stuff is going to go away. If you got a landlord and everything is cool, when the economy shifts, some of that is going to get different. The way that you get food, like your basic kind of supply chain and how we know how to live and just go about our lives, some of that is going to be impacted. So this is a message for all my Black people, dear melanated, copper skinned, brilliant, all of us, all y'all. You know who I'm talking about, my people. Listen, we say this war is not our business, but it is. Not because we did it today, and not because everybody's saying, well, I didn't vote for this. Okay, that's so cool. However, it's still going to affect you where you live, your ability to get gas, and everything that you do all day, every day is going to impact you. We have to take responsibility, get serious about putting, the work in. Let me just say it that way. There is an input output machine. What if, y'all know the little fairy tale? I forget the name of this, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And they had, why they always got somebody trapped in a tower in a fairy tale? That goes to tell you a lot about this society we grew up in. But anyway, the one where it was like the girl, it was locked in the room and she could turn straw into gold. Y'all know that fairy tale? Now, how was she doing that? What machine did she have? Like, I would like to take a basic standard material that everybody has access to and turn around and turn it into gold. Well, guess what? You all have that machine in your pocket. It's called social media. Now, they designed it and they built it to lay the groundwork for where we're headed. Shout out to Latrice. I always forget the name of this book. She posted it. Age of the Surveillance State. If you haven't read it, go read it or listen to it. That's their intention. But in the meantime, they created this space where all of our preferences, all of our behaviors, they've coded it. They've turned it into an algorithm that predicts behavior based on past behavior. So they watched this kind of video before. You make videos about that topic, your video is going to get shown to those people. They work for you. So you take some common knowledge, something that's really common to you. I've been doing this for years. Of course, I know how to do this, but it's new for other people. They didn't know. Put it into this machine called social media, and it'll bring you brand new people, turn it into money, and you'll be like, how did that happen? So I want to break down the psychology and the actual zoom out framework of why this works the way it does and how it works, so that any little last resistance that you have to developing this skill and mastering it will be gone after today's episode. So take notes. If you got to go, you can go back and watch this replay. I'm going to go back and listen to this because sometimes you got to jump back and coach yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if you're in the WhatsApp, I'm cutting this off after 27 minutes. So you need to join me on YouTube somewhere. Go where I'm streaming live or get in the Zoom. Okay. So on today, you know what I say all the time? This is a quote you got to remember, because I always start with principles. The connection is the birthplace of all currency. So right now we are dealing with the greatest opportunity in human history. And there are 7 doors. You could choose your own adventure, choose your own path. You could go through one of the doors, a couple of the doors, all 7 of the doors. But if you go through the door and you show up the right way, you know how it's always like a secret code, like what's the magic word? Open sesame. As long as you know how to show up, as long as you have some home training when you walk through those doors, it's going to turn random, regular conversations, your common knowledge, things that you're great at, that you've been doing for years, that are second nature to you, it's going to turn it into gold. So let us talk about it on today. Are we ready? Okay. Now, this is a story I got from one of my coaches. All right. Real talk, actually happened. There was a lady, I can't remember. The lady, I think she cooked cookies, bread, or cupcakes, something. I don't know. But listen, she was really good at it. She did it all the time. And she would watch people on her random social media pages. This is probably about 3 years ago. And after a while, one day she just had a moment and she was like, you know what? I'm going in. I don't know what I don't know, but I know that I'm about to go in. So she just started posting. She would pull out her phone, show people what she was making that day, how she made it, why she loved it, why she chose these ingredients, whatever. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished. She didn't really have she didn't pay a bunch of money for somebody to make her a brand kit and, a brand Bible and all this stuff with color palettes and all this kind of stuff. She didn't really have all that. She didn't have a social media manager or anything, but she had her worldview. This is why I chose to do this way. This is why I choose these ingredients, whether it was her grandmother's recipe or whatever it was, that was her narrative about it. But she was like, people love it. So let me show you how I make it. And let me show you the people eating the cookies or the bread, whatever it was. It was 2 years, literally, well, really like 18 months. She's making about $750,000 a year. And she's baking and doing her thing and shipping it to different people all over the country. She's doing all the stuff. She's happy. She gets, $750,000 a year. All because she got serious about learning the skill of social media. So that's not an exception, though. That's what's possible. That's what this machine does. It's an input-output machine. So if I could change our way of thinking, so we're no longer resisting, we're no longer taking a back seat, we're no longer just, oh, I post once a week. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I might get one post up. I mean, how hard in the paint can you go? If I'm telling you this machine will turn straw into gold, it will turn a random human interaction, a conversation, something cute that we both find funny, into a transaction, a random stranger into a fan that's telling other people about you and reordering. I just reordered. Shout out to anybody, essentials. I just reordered. What I'm not going to do is go a week without my oil that I got from them. She sent me a, full gift package and everything. And I need it. I need it now. I have to have it. I'm telling y'all about it. I'm telling strangers who don't know me, gonna pull it up on YouTube. They're like, well, who's Anybody Essentials? Go to anybodyessentials.com. Because it's that good. It's that good. So everybody can learn how to leverage these one-off interactions with people and turn it into repeat customers. Turn it into a brand, a narrative that lives without you. While you sleep, while you go to the island, people are still having that conversation, hitting your page and paying you some money. This is what we want. Social media is the machine that can get us there. Okay. So this is available right now, nothing more than a phone and something real to say. We have spent 66 days in this 100-day challenge working on clarity. It needs to be crystal clear what it is that you do. If I ask you your worldview, who do you serve? Why does it matter? You should be able to tell me that in a couple sentences, just pop, pop, pop. If you can't do that, we still have work to do. But once you get there, you're ready. Now you're ready to scale on social media. We got to let the resistance go. We got to stop worried about being famous. This is not about trying to become the most famous celebrity influencer, having all these polished reels and all. That's not what we're doing. We are scaling our ability to connect with humans, and we're using social media as a tool, a resource to get there. We can do this. You're brilliant. You're capable. You can do this. Here we go.
No.
Yes.
Just one note. I love that you're talking about this because, I did that random grant video, and I was thinking about posting it or doing something with it, but I had sent it to two people. I sent it to my best friend and I sent it to my brother. Just, how does this look? Like, I had already decided because I took 3 takes. The second one felt the most natural. But the thing was, I had stumbled on one part. So I had to make a choice of whether I was still gonna use that one, if I was gonna redo it. There were different options. And at the end, I just decided to post the one that felt the best to me, even though I did make that mistake. And my best friend, she was like, "Oh, that's great video. Are you gonna fix the part or edit it out? The part that I stumbled." And I was like, you know what? I thought about it, and I'm human, and I'm talking to other humans, and I corrected myself, and I feel like that's good enough. Like, I don't have to keep trying to make it. I didn't want to make it sound like I was reading off of a script, even though I prepared something, but I want it to be human. So that's what I'm working on, is overriding my thoughts, which my best friend has the same thoughts because we just overthink everything. But just saying, no, it's good. Like, the lighting's great, everything else is great. Like, you're human and it happens.
Absolutely.
So
I love it.
Yeah, just want to share
that's your power. All of that. I hate the word authenticity is overused, but that is your power. You're literally a human talking to humans, and you could just use this technology to do it at scale. They don't need you to be polished. They need you to be speaking to something that's relevant to them, that they can feel. So that's beautiful. I love that. So people keep telling us, yes, the smarter we are, the harder this is going to be. This is why I got to preach a whole sermon today about this, because people around you who've never done this before, mind you, who've never been on stages and scaled and have people around the world calling them for their product. Okay. I have, I'm telling you. But people will tell you, oh my God, it's got to be perfect. Oh, it's got to be this. Oh, I don't know if I would do that. Hold on. How you going to tell me? How you going to tell me how to get to the store? You never been, you don't know. Anyway, so that's not to say, especially if they're in your industry or they're your particular target audience, they can tell you how it makes them feel, what they want to hear, topics and things like that. They can give you that kind of feedback. But in terms of the format, structure, and how to show up on social, that it got to be perfect. And no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. These same people will tell you that the window is closing, that things are oversaturated, that social media is too crowded, that it's too much. That's for younger people. That's for the celebrities. If you don't have 100,000 followers, then you ain't nobody. If you don't go viral, then it don't matter. Like all of this bad advice that we get from people. How many views? You know what? I want you to think like somebody who fixes pianos. How many people in the world have a piano? First of all, and then got time, everybody leave the little piano in the corner that they got from the granddaddy. They don't tune it, they don't fix it. Who's actually actively reaching out and hiring piano fixers? It's a very, very small percentage of people. However, so that's what I'm saying. You might not get 200,000 views on your video, but it don't matter. If there's 3,000 people in north side of Atlanta, north of 20, who got a piano, got extra income, they don't play about their piano. They used to be a classical pianist, so they go always keep their piano together. And they want the grandbaby to learn. If it's 4,000 or 5,000 of them, and all of them, 1,500 of them all are seeing my videos and talking about it, guess what? I'm going to be booked for the next year. So I don't need 100,000 views. I need my people to find me on social. And when they find me, it makes them feel like they want to feel and makes them want to take another step with me. So we got to get out of this celebrity mentality because y'all is all fake anyway. Not to tell nobody business. I try so hard. But I need you to understand when somebody pops out of nowhere, we didn't ask for this, ma'am. And just all of a sudden, now you got lines down the street, around the corner. Everybody tasted the food, didn't change my life. I had it multiple times. I was like, what's special about this? Nothing. You cussing at me, low key, you cussing. I couldn't take my grandmother to this place because the words that you choose to use in your branding, who's doing that? Fine. But you got celebrities just popped out of nowhere. Oh, yeah, it's so good. They pay people for that. It's called a machine. It's the same way that they take an artist when you sign a record deal. They take an artist and they get all the, the clothes and the your publicist. Like it is their job to get you appearances. You know how they just pop up at the. Oh, she was just on the front row randomly of the basketball game. Oh, she just pulled up at this event. No, she didn't. This is a machine. They're paying people to make sure that people are all in the comments. That people making little videos like the little girl with the water song. Who is her? Who is she? Came out of nowhere. It's a machine. So don't be fooled by people who have a machine pushing them, especially on Instagram. You don't need hundreds of thousands and millions of followers. You need people who are checking for you. So let us get into it. Y'all know it's my worldview. Social media, like I said, is the greatest single opportunity in human history right now. Even as the world is falling apart, even as it's World War III and all the rest of that, this is the greatest opportunity right now because we can go ahead, turn this thing on, turn that machine back on, hit the button, get you some money, and go ahead on. That's what we get to do. Now, 2005, 2008, when all of this stuff was new and we were all like, yeah, well, and most of us, especially if you're of a certain age, I don't know the cutoff, but this is just not native to you. It feels foreign to you. It's like, I'm not trying to do all that. It's just not your personality, whatever that is. It's actually more of an opportunity now than it was then because all the marketplace, everybody has moved over here now. But the brands don't know what they're doing. The old school, the old traditional media and institutions, they don't know what they're doing. 99% of people, the stuff that I'm telling y'all, don't know. They don't know this. They're not thinking like this. So you can win. You can win this game. You can. Yes, you can. Okay. So you have your big five. That's level 1 activities. That means you could dribble, pass, and shoot. You know how to talk about your work. You have some clarity around who you serve, why it matters, your worldview. You know how to elevate that and center them in the conversation, not center yourself. You're ahead of 95% of the entrepreneurs right there. You've taken the time to talk to real humans in real life, so you know what they're really thinking about and asking for. You're not just getting on social media and making it up in your head. Now you're ahead of 98% of people. We're going to get the other 2% right now. So here we go. This technology has removed the gatekeepers. There's nobody who could come and tell you that you can't reach people. You don't need permission anymore, right? You used to need a publisher, a label, a network, the editor of a magazine, an agent, club owner, some influential person or some tastemaker who's like, yes, this is my new favorite. This is my favorite thing now. We all can do that now. A random person you never heard of ever in some corner of TikTok can move millions of units of a product, not just Oprah anymore. Okay, so those gatekeepers used to be the ones we had to. If I could just get in front of this person, if I could meet them after the fireside chat, then I'd be somebody. You know, all of that. They make decisions and they decided who was popular. Those days are over. Okay, it's been 15 years in the making, but that's over. You don't have to wait for permission for somebody to make you the next great thing. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. There's nothing standing between you and the market. No gatekeepers. But most people over 30, for whatever reason, are not playing this game to the fullest. And it's not because they can't do it, not because we're not smart enough or talented enough or whatever. Most people that I'm dealing with have more wisdom, got more stuff, more substance to say than somebody who just got out of college. What are you going to tell me for real? You don't know. But we're not showing up. We think we're too late. Oh, it's already overcrowded. No. And again, that's that wrong model. We're not doing the celebrity model. We're doing the connection model for social media. So again, connection is the birthplace of all currency. So let me tell you how people get caught up and what we need to do differently. This is why the place that should not be named, and I'm closing for my people on WhatsApp. Y'all get on the Zoom or do the streaming thing. What we doing? It's a nice warm Saturday. You ain't working. Just get over here. I'm change perspective. I'm gonna get you right. Okay. There's two paths you can go on social media. So please hear me. I'm not talking about path number one. Path number one is this celebrity influencer thing that they got us thinking. You build a cult following. You become this well-known personality. They just happen to find you interesting. Every time they see your video pop up, it's kind of funny. Okay, it's a vibe, whatever. So they follow you, they see you, they get a good chuckle, they move on. Months, years go by. And you got all these random people that have accumulated to become your audience. They just like watching you. Very broad. But now you got a new problem. I have personal friends of mine, hundreds of thousands, like 3, 4, 500,000, 2 million followers on Instagram, and be calling me about money problems because they don't know how to monetize it. They didn't build an audience of customers and fans who were there for the value that they're going to offer in exchange for money. They built an audience of people who are like, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. Not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So we're not here to build an audience of, just for the sake of being famous or being influencers. Okay. Because it can work. I got another friend who has 15 million, no, probably close to 18 now, on Instagram or whatever. And she's figured it out. You got the brand deals, you're doing events, so you're able to leverage the fact that you have all these eyeballs and turn around and, monetize it. But that is the long way. That's the long path to hope I figure out some success, some kind of way. There's another path. And this is what all my brilliant people, we so brilliant. This is what we need to apply our brilliance and our genius to, okay? We show up. Every time we hit the button, every time we get on social media, we're speaking directly to the person, something they can relate to, something they're struggling with, something they're like, oh my God, and then you come in immediately talking about exactly that. Every time you open your mouth, and they're like, oh my God, she's in my head again. She sees me. She does exactly right. It's like she's talking to me. She's talking to me. Get that right first. And then it's like, and by the way, here's who I am. Here's my background. This is what I got going on. Your brand and your tagline and all other stuff. And, this is where I'm from, and the little jokes that you tell and the way that you talk, or your accent, or, your hair journey, or whatever else you got going on. Your whole personality. That becomes the inside jokes, the culture. Y'all remember the triangle that I showed you to get off the Bermuda Triangle that people fall into when they fail the entrepreneur's roadmap? It starts on this side. It starts with your concept. On the bottom right is the cadence. This is your social media. Show up, do it again, have the conversation, do it again, get on the stage, do it again, hit the button, do it again, do it again. If you go all the way through, it's 10 points on there. When you get to the top, that's your currency. And so along that path, you'll have this culture, this energy, this, like I said, inside jokes, the way, the stuff I'd be saying, what we doing, all this kind of stuff, that it just becomes a shared experience with the people who are on that journey with you. All your personality stuff, all your little jokes, all your little favorite songs, Kendrick, all of that. That's cute. But that we don't lead with that. We're not trying to build an influencer or celebrity brand on social media. We're building a community of people who I'm speaking directly to them. And they want to be a part of this conversation because they're getting value. They're able to get some kind of transition, transformation, some information, something that they can't get other places. You're talking directly to them. Let that be the first thing they see. Email, when you speak, when they hit your landing page. It's the problem they're living with, the problem that was in their head, the thing I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. And it's like, yep, I totally understand. Look, think about it this way. Have you ever thought about it this way? You're like, no, I haven't. Okay, here go 3 things. Now I'm in for the video. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. And in the way you talk about it and your personality, nobody can replicate that. People say, oh, I want to be different. That's what makes you different. It's how you talk about it. It's your lens through which you speak and show up. Mm-hmm. And knowing what works, because you talk to enough humans and you know what people respond to and react to. So you do that again. We're not reinventing the wheel. Every 2 days, there shouldn't be a new pitch and a new, oh, I'm trying something new this week. No. We do what works. We do it again. I need you to think, this is where you think like an artist, like a recording artist. They sing the same song the same way, not the remix, the exact same as the record for 24 months. They just go here, go there, go to this club, go to today's show. They go to this nightclub. They go to this and do it again. The same song. And 2 years later, we finally figure out who this person is. You see, I told you that's the long way. But if you start showing up speaking directly to their issues and their problems, and then you have all of everything else you do the same every time behind that, you get there much faster. They'll be buying from you quicker. You get paid to learn the skill of social media mastery. Okay, so I know I made my point, but I'm not playing. You want to be in the head of your audience, something they were just talking about, just thinking about, just looking at, just trying to figure out, just concerned about. Oh my God, and here you come. So I want to be in that conversation. That's the secret. That's the secret to making all your social pop. Okay. So are you willing? That's the connection model, not the celebrity model, the connection model. Okay. So most people are going to tell you, oh, build an audience, try to figure out how to go viral, do all that, and then figure out monetization later. False. And build a following, you got to get 10,000 people to know. You got to do that. What we're going to do is the connection model. We're going to build trust. We're going to optimize for trust and connection. And that is what's going to convert. That's what we want to do. All right. So here we go. Bring it back to the lab. So yeah, y'all need to get on the thing if you're on the WhatsApp. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, I gotta go. I'm out. Pew! Okay, so I had a friend of mine. I just told this story earlier today to somebody. So I'll tell you guys as well. Boom. All right. I had a friend of mine. She had a technology company. And part of her model was she would host these community roundtables around, challenging topics of the day. Like if she did one right now, it would probably be about, the war in Iran or something, just things that community members are talking about and you want to kind of have a roundtable about. So she invited me to one of these big events, City Hall. People are, there's like 100 tables in there in the big atrium in City Hall. And the who's who, everybody's in there. They pass around the dinner and they give you the little cards of what you're supposed to talk about that day. But the first thing you do is you sit at the table, you get your food, and then everybody goes around and introduces themselves and say what you do. So why do I want to go and do that? Y'all know every time I talk about what I do, everything gets different. So by the time they get to me, I do the thing. I tell you what's in your water, The all started with Flint, We didn't get to nothing that we were supposed to be talking about at that table on that card for that event. The whole night was about, what is in my water? Well, can you come to our neighborhood? Well, what does your data tell you about where we live? we have good water. We have good. Do you? Okay. All of that the whole night. And then the person I was sitting next to was like telling me all the secret sauce that I'm not supposed to know because he was a lawyer for the city and da 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 da. And a book I need to read, which changed my whole trajectory for my business, which I did not know. He was like, "This is all the secret information. It's right here. It's where you find it." Then when we get up, we finish. Everybody want to introduce me to all their friends at other tables in the room. Okay, I did not go there to talk about my work or what I do in the network. That was not the point. I was just supporting my friend. But because I show up, like the 5-star pitch, it just flows through me. I show up fully present. Clarity leads to that confidence, which allows you to be present. And that is where connection comes from. So I'm fully present, genuinely showing up as myself with something real to say, a real perspective, a world view. And the whole night turned into basically like a laboratory, basically. Because you meet all these people and they're talking to you and they're telling you, oh my God, and now you get to see what they react to and respond to, what's important to them. So then, if you're able to do that, every real conversation that you have, that's data. Motion creates data. So everything that people say when they light up, they're like, yes, they laugh at something, they respond to something, they're shocked by something, they ask you more questions about that. They're like, yes, I know exactly what you mean. I've been feeling that way, da da da. All this language that they use to describe what they're doing, what they're dealing with. Gold. This is money. All financial capital, social capital. Okay. So then what you're supposed to do as you go about your life and these things are happening to you, because you move like this every day now, because you've been doing your big 5. If you graduated from level 1, you take all that energy back to the lab. So you bring it back to your work every day. You take the story, that the dinner, the phone call, the DM that somebody sent you, whatever. You make a video about it, you post about it, you write an email, you record an episode, you write an article. This is how we scale those moments. Instead of one-to-one, we go one-to-many. So your social media content is not just coming out of nowhere. It's coming out of real feelings, real emotions, real things that people are experiencing in real life. Just like the best songs, in case you ever wanted to be a songwriter, they're written to define and describe a very specific emotion. They're usually telling a story about something specific that they went through. They are feeling, thinking about, looking in their mind's eye right at that person who made them feel whatever that was in that moment. And that's what the song is about. The more clarity you have about that, the more powerful whatever you create is going to be. So that's what we bring to our work in social media. It's not like, okay, I got to post. What do I post about? Top 5 things to remember in your industry. No one cares. Don't post stuff that somebody could Google, the little boring little stuff. We're not doing that. We want to catch them right in a moment, right in a problem, right in something that they're. So that's what all the work about hooks is about. And all of that is over there in social media mastery as well. Okay. So what you do is you take a real conversation, either a real experience that somebody has relayed to you, a real conversation that you had, or a real problem that you keep seeing that pattern over and over again. And you want to take that and scale it so that because there are thousands more people who haven't had the chance to have that conversation with you yet. So your job is to find them. And this machine, social media, this input output machine that's free, does that for you. It is designed specifically to do that for you. Okay. So when you're walking about, if you go to a specific networking event that's specific for networking, take over the room. Everybody in there should know your narrative, who you are, what you do, what you got going on. If you go to any other part of your life, you're showing up present. You're in an airplane. You're at a ball game. You went to somebody's house party, dinner party. Wherever, I don't know where people be going these days. Whatever you're doing, you're just showing up fully present, actually genuinely interested in other human beings, have real conversations, let things flow. You're going to meet these people. And then, eventually somebody going to ask you what you do. And when they ask you what you do, you don't say what you do. You say why you do what you do. And it'll organically flow into the thing. And then if there's interest, you got somewhere for them to go because we're doing the work. You know what I mean? So that's really all you have to do is it's just that natural. But when you build a system on social media, it takes the pressure off. It's not like, oh my God, I need this person to do. No, you don't, because you have a system that's doing that for you every day. If they want to come and join this world you're building, amazing. But that's no different than being a celebrity in the sense of if you met, I can't name any celebrity because everybody's canceled, but fill in your favorite celebrity here. If you met them just like walking down the street or something, like I'm rewatching The Boys right now because I got to get ready. The new season's coming out 30 days. I'm behind. I'm so behind.
I saw that.
I'm so behind. So I had to start over because I like to watch it all the way through. So it's the first and second episode, and I forget the boy's name. But anyway, the one, the one, he's working the radio shop, the pawn shop, whatever. And then he's sitting on the bench next to Starlight, and he don't even know that's her. They just having a real human conversation. Real connection. And they end up becoming friends later. Okay, cool. But if you met somebody who's air quote famous, but you just met them, it's literally just like talking to a person. What's the only difference? The only difference is they got this whole other set of activities going on that so many other people have gotten involved in, that narrative, it goes before them. It speaks before they do. And what I'm suggesting to every future millionaire on this phone is that you commit to social media in a way where that narrative about who you are and who you serve, Entrepreneurs for Good, is that for you, Makaya? I don't know where that just came from.
Thank you. I just posted about our recap today. That's what I was doing before I got on the call. And I'm focusing on the partnerships that I'm making as well. With Anthony, I'm about to promote his on my page for tomorrow for the Alma Film Festival, because I want to be part of that as well. There's so much that I want to do, doll.
Mhm.
And this is the engine for it.
Thank you. That's it. It's the engine. Because, it'll be like, oh, by the way, can you fix my huge multinational nonprofits website needs for a $500,000 contract? Like, it's going to turn into that before you're done. And all you have to do is show up and be authentic. So anyway, it will be basically, if we get this right, it just so happens that you have this big world that you've built for yourself in a space where people are constantly coming to you and they know about you and they're sharing your narrative with other people and stuff like that. That's how your life is supposed to be. So those of us who are committed here, by the time we master the skill of social media, that's what it's going to be for us. So connection. We need to make connection our obsession. Connection is the birthplace of all currency. If we have money problems, I don't want to talk about money. I want to talk about what engine are you building to have consistent, authentic, powerful, impactful, memorable, can't wait to do it again connections that you're building intentionally. If you do that, we're fine. We're fine. Everything else is just put a little landing page here, do this here, turn this on, do this like this, da da da. That's it. And if you learn these principles, then you can encode your AI to do it. That's what the social media mastery is for. And you can train somebody else to do it so they don't break the machine that you made when you hired somebody and bring them in. That's really all we got to do. Okay. So every client you've ever had came from a connection, every opportunity, every referral, every room you ever walked in that changed something, something shifted, there was a connection that happened there first. Okay. So you can't replace that and just hide behind your computer and just post from a place that's not connected to anything. Right. But once you start from connection, social media can scale it. Okay. So one-to-one conversations, you feel what lands, it resonates, something that you experienced, went through, whatever, makes people light up. Then you take that to your platform, you speak it, you scale it. That's it. That's the system. Okay. Any thoughts or questions about that before I move on? Because I want to get to, I know it's Saturday, but like I said, if y'all got to go, just watch the replay because I need this today. So I know it's going to help some people. Now, why do we have to do all that? It sounds like it's a lot. People be saying it's a lot. Yeah, okay. I hope we got to mature past that. Yes, it is a lot because why? We want a lot of money. So we need to do this work in the front end, lay this groundwork, and then it's going to keep, like it's just like planting an orchard or whatever. At first, it was like, oh my God, I got to move all the weeds. I got to flatten the land. I got to do this. I got to do that. But after you get the things planted and that first harvest comes and apple trees grow, you'll get apples every year. Now we just maintain it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do this part first. Okay. So showing up online is important. And nay, I say not optional in this day and age of 2026. If you want to hurry up and you don't have a bucket of money to just waste to pay somebody else to do this part, you're going to have to do this part. Okay. So if you've been following along, you already agree with me, but listen, this is not, man, it's not optional. Let me say it that way. There's a difference between believing something, mentally assenting to what I'm saying, and really understanding it, taking it as like changing your behavior to align with it. Okay. So once I give you these mechanics behind this thing, we're not just treating it like a strategy or even a tactic that we're implementing. I want you to start treating it like a law, like a principle, a new standard by which you govern your life and your business. Okay. That's my job here. So let me try this. I got 20 minutes to get this part, and then I'm gonna go to something a little more practical, and we should be done. So Google, I talked about this multiple times before. They process 8.5 billion searches a day. They got more data on human decision making than any organization in the history of civilization. You're not finna tell me nothing that Google has not seen first. Google called me. That's the joke I used to tell. But I ended up on the homepage of Google, Google's International Woman of Water. They called me. And I'm like, how did you find me? But they're Google. They know everything. Anyway, Google said they did a study right around 2014 or so, because things were changing after social media started becoming more mainstream, and it's like, wait a minute, we're moving differently. This is not like Main Street, it's not like billboards, not like it used to be. Things are different. So they started studying how people decide who to trust, who to work with, who to hire, who to buy from, who to invest in, who to follow. And what they found became known as what I always tell you guys, 7-11-4. This is the equation that we're solving for. 7-11-4. 7 hours of content consumed, 7 hours spent with you, hanging out at your events, watching your stuff, doing whatever, you're asking people to do. 11 touch points, different interactions. So throughout the days and the weeks as they're scrolling, you keep coming up on their feed. 11 touch points. 4 separate either locations, like different platforms that they're seeing you, and or 4 different associations of credibility markers. So like, I saw you in Forbes. I heard you on the radio. I saw you on this magazine cover. And then I saw you in Good Morning America. You know what I'm saying? 7-11-4. And so how do we replicate that? Just show up. Be on LinkedIn, be on Instagram, be on YouTube, be on Facebook, whatever. Substack. Okay. 7-11-4. Have this person mention you, this person mention you. They saw you at this event, at this program they were at, and then you were speaker over here. 4 different associations. Just be outside, basically. But this is the math behind it, okay? This is the threshold, it's the calculus for trust in the modern world. Okay, so before most people will make a meaningful decision, and of course you can collapse time and go even faster. The better you are at this, picking the right people, having clarity in what you're saying and how you're talking, showing up in a way that's present, speaking to some of the stuff you post, for example, will go viral, but that's not what we're aiming for. You know what I'm saying? It's just like baseball. Okay, you might hit a home run, you might hit a grand slam. That's beautiful. But what do we want to do? Get on base. And then get the next person get on base, and the next one, and then I go around the base, and then I come home. That is a system. So we're not living for miracles. We're not living for, oh my God, out the park. That's all beautiful. But we're building a system that gives consistent, predictable results. That's what I need for you guys to get really comfortable with. The system that's behind all of your success should feel boring. And that's not going to feel boring, actually, because you're making connection. You're staying present. It's impossible to be bored if you're present, by the way. Because even if you're literally doing actually nothing, but let's say you're on a beach, or you got the house just right, you got everything is everything, and you ain't no problems and cares and worry. You're not bored. You're loving this. You're present. Anyway. So when people say that they're ready to invest their time, their money, their belief, they're taking their weight, the problem that they were struggling with, and they're going to trust you with it, their referrals, their social capital, They have to be able to, trust that you're going to show up and do what you said you're going to do, and, hold the energy. So, which means anywhere on the low end, there's really 2 to 4. You can read the article yourself. Just Google 711 for Google. But approximately 7 hours consuming your content, hanging out with you, 11 different interactions, 4 different places. Okay. So most people think it's like 131. That's how y'all act anyway. One interaction, one place, one time. They met at a networking event or something. You give them your card or something, and then you might remember to follow up, and then that's it. And then you're like, well, what happened? They're not paying me. It's not how that goes. It's not how the brain works. And so the people who built these algorithms on all these platforms, that they work for us now, and they govern, the platforms that we're talking about. They built the algorithms based on neuroscience, which is documented. So 7114 is why they did Instagram stories and LinkedIn notifications and YouTube autoplay and Facebook group notification badge and all those stuff that they do. They designed the architecture of those platforms around the way that humans build trust and how the brain goes from stranger to like, I believe in what this person stands for. I have so much confidence in what they got going on that I'll stand on it too. I'll lean on it too. I will tell somebody else about them and all the rest of that. I put my money into it as well. Right? So they built the machine on neuroscience. So your job is not to reinvent the machine, it is to leverage it. Okay. If you think about 711 now, you get this right, it's going to impact every interaction you have, whether that's in person or, online. Okay. So let's say we're in person. You're at an event. Shout out to Tracy. You went to an event, or you went to a conference or something, and you just happen to meet this person, be sitting by this person. Y'all end up having a 15-20 minute conversation. Genuine connection. It was awesome. A dinner party, something like that. You just talking. And it was like, that's awesome. You made a great first impression, made a strong impression, whatever. But after that, everybody get up, go home, wake up the next day. And you know what they're going to do? If it was a real connection and they're like, let me see what's going on with this person for real, because that was cool. You know what most people do? They're not going to tell you, but this is what they do. They look you up. Yes, they do. They go and Google you, look for your Instagram or whatever. They're going to look you up. Okay. It's so automatic that they're not even thinking about it. It's just like, I wonder what, let me see what she got going on. Let me see, whatever. So they just put your name in the search bar. They go on Instagram or go on your LinkedIn, whatever. It's not being weird. They're not stalking you. They're literally just starting the process that started when you first shook hands with them. They want to look and see for some confirmation, looking for evidence that you are the person you said you are. Consistent. Is there a body of work that validates the impression that you made? I dare say that many of us did not have that before I started being very intentional about saying, what are we doing? And encouraging everybody to get online in a more intentional way. Okay. So if you have all this great energy and then I go, I mean, y'all, if people to this day, people Google me, it's a problem. It's like, oh, yeah, oh. And I didn't even do that with social media. It was traditional media, but they gonna look you up. Trust me. They're gonna look you up. And versus if you're like, oh yeah, because I do this and I do that and I help all these people, and then they go and look you up, there's nothing. It's crickets. Again, it's not 2005. It's not 1985. So it can't be that you don't exist online, because something ain't, the math ain't mathing. Now that's not true, 80, 90, 100% of the time. There are certain industries, there are certain secret weapons, think Olivia Pope. There's certain people in this world who making moves and you can't find them online. I'm not talking about that, okay? Because if you were that, they would keep hearing your name, which people tell me that too. Who is the all about? They say, I keep hearing your name from this person, that person, everybody, da. Who is? So anyway, there's that. But I'm not talking about that. Okay. So, but if they look you up, they don't find anything. The impression that you made, it kind of fades a little bit. You just become a nice memory. This thing, they say they're gonna reach out to you, and they might, but nothing's really anchoring them. There's nothing to go back to. There's nothing to, you know what I'm saying? Nothing to send to their friend. They want to introduce you to somebody. Oh my God, I had this great conversation. Let me show you. And they look you up, and then there's nothing there. So they can't send it to their friend that they want to talk about and get validation. And like, this was a great experience, but am I tripping? Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I was, I had one too many margaritas at the table last night. Maybe, it wasn't all that. So the connection was real, but it had nowhere to go to live. And what do I always say? You got to build a place for people to hang out with you before, during, and after a purchase from you. That makes it real to them. Okay. But if they can find something in contrast, a podcast episode that sounds like the conversation you just had, a LinkedIn post naming the problem that they're navigating, YouTube video giving them something really useful, and it's like showing that you're an expert in this space, showing where you've been on this stage or been over here or been helping this person, or look at you with your clients, or you going through the things, the 5 principles out of your book, and this and that and the third. The clock starts. What clock? The 7 hours, the 11 touch points, and then the first of those 4 different impressions that they're going to get from you. Instead of fading, it starts to build. There's something to build on now. Okay, they're a real entity out here. Okay, so the conversation you have, the connection you make, the people that you sit next to, all of that, those are seeds. Cool. But a seed needs soil. So the soil is the stuff that you build online, this experience that you build online when somebody goes looking for you after they've met you. When they got to go have this conversation with their husband and tell them why they're going to spend $2,000. And it's like, what is this? It should be something they could point to about what it is that you're doing. Okay. So that's if you meet somebody in person. Now, think about this. If somebody finds you online first, somebody, let's say they scroll past your content, they don't follow you at all, but something about your hook or something about what was on the screen, POV, whatever you're talking about, that stops them. And then when you get that hook, the first 2-3 seconds, it's like, yes, name something that they can relate to. They're going through, whatever that is, a story that sounds like their story. So they're locked in. It's a truth they've been feeling, but nobody ever articulated it, whatever. So they pause, they watch the piece of content. They might not be following you, they might not comment on it, but they felt something. Beautiful. So the algorithm, which is based on neuroscience, is based on the science of attention and repetition. Algorithm knows how long they stayed, how long they watched, and all of that. And it's going to show them more content like that. Now, if you are constantly making more content like that, you're going to come up in their feed again tomorrow or later today or whatever. And so guess what? The clock begins. The 11 touch points begin accumulating, but they don't really recognize this is happening. So by the time they see you 3, 4, 5 times, now they know your name. Now they're like, let me go and follow, because every time she starts talking this, yes, let me bloop, bloop. They're telling a friend about you, and they're like, oh man, I saw this thing. Now they know how to pull you up, or maybe they want to raise their hand and put the comment that you told them to do to get the free thing you're offering or whatever. They're sending you a DM or something. But they've already been watching your content for days or weeks at that point. So the trust is already being built. Then they might pop up on a webinar that you're doing, or come to an event that you're hosting, or come to a live session, or sit across from you, do whatever. Maybe they meet you in person after they've seen you online for all this stuff. And so now it connects that online relationship to a physical person. The voice they've been hearing all this time, now it has a face with it. And you complete the 7-11-4 equation. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. It just works. It's neuroscience. This is how humans build trust, through repeated exposure, consistent evidence, gradual accumulation of, yes, this person is who they say they are. Yes, they have value for me. Yes, I feel like I want to feel every time I'm here, and I'm getting more. I would like to remain connected here. Okay, social media did not invent this. It just scaled it, accelerated it, democratized it. It's available to everybody with a phone and something real and clear to say. It's the great equalizer. Okay, because our job goal is not to become famous. But our job and our goal is to build connection and trust. Things that would have taken years and years and years of being in person, or years and years and years of being on TV every day at 3 o'clock. You can have the same impact on your phone that it used to take a whole network and 300 people on your staff to have a daily show or network television to build that kind of relationship with people. And you can cross geographic boundaries. You could talk to people you never met before, may never meet them in person. And the only thing it costs you is clarity and consistency. Aha! 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 Okay. So I'm gonna give you the neuroscience and then I'm gonna get back to how to think about these 7 platforms and then we'll be done. So 90 minute is one of these 90-minute days. Okay. So neuroscience. You got 2 primary mechanisms in your head for building trust. They're all very ancient. They predate language. I mean, this is just how your brain works. Okay. But these people studied cognitive psychology now that wrote these social media platforms. So don't think they don't do this on purpose. They do. So I want you to know so you can take advantage of it. Okay. So the first mechanism is the one where it's just exposure, mere exposure effect is what it's called. The more times you're exposed to something, the more familiar it becomes. The more familiar it becomes, the more positively you tend to feel about it. Now, nothing has changed. It's just the way it is. This is why they play commercials. We're watching sports, we're watching the Grammys, the Oscars coming on tomorrow, or whatever. Whatever you're watching, and they play the same commercial, same brand over and over and over and over and over. So these become known entities to us just because of mere exposure. Okay. I told y'all the story about Kirk Franklin. We were on stage, we got off stage, and here come Kirk Franklin. We opened for them. And nobody knew who they were. They had all black. And he come out there, someone asked a question. Someone asked a question. Why do we sing? Why do we sing? And then the crowd was like, it was crickets. It was just like, okay, I knew, what are we doing? Because nobody, his song hadn't come out. Nobody knew nothing about nothing. It was nothing. Okay. Fast forward. 3 months later, we did the same. It was Bobby Jones. If anybody want to know. So they would do a tour and come back. We did the same thing. John P. Key Olive. We get up there and say, Richard Smallwood. We get up there and say, then we get off. Here comes Kirk Franklin. But the song had been on the radio. The song had gone, all the way around, and people were singing it in church and all this kind of stuff. Same Kirk, little short self, all black. Here come the family behind him. 3 microphones. They stand around the microphone. He said, someone asked a question. Someone asked a question. And the crowd, people falling out the thing, falling all out on the floor, rolling around. I'm talking about rolling on the floor, just running up and down the aisle, just throwing handkerchiefs, shoes flying. Like, nothing changed. What happened? That's the mere exposure effect. Just by being exposed to something over and over and over, the more familiar something becomes, the more positively you tend to feel about it. So you need to show up on social media consistently without taking big, huge chunks of breaks so that people's brain can start to catalog you as something known, because what's known to the brain is safe, and safe is good. We like this just because we know what it is. We've been exposed to it. So don't be a stranger to your audience, okay? That's number one. This thing preaching. Everybody need this will change somebody's life. But people gonna do what they want to do. I understand that. And that's fine. All right. So that's why ads work. Like I said, even when you hate ads, a song that you hate, you can't, you thought it was annoying initially, but you end up humming the song. The candidate, how when they run for office or whatever, if you recognize their name, they're going to have a bigger advantage than somebody you don't remember their name. Repeated exposure changes the neurological relationship between the brain and whatever you're focusing on. And remember, the only currency in the world is the time, energy, effort, focus, and attention of another human being. So the more times they focus on you, the more it's going to trigger this effect. Okay, so social media is designed, engineered to exploit this part of your brain's chemistry. So if you just show up consistently, again, you already passed 90+% of people, and you're like, oh, but there's so many people that are showing up consistently. I could prove that's not true in 27 seconds. Name The people that you personally know who are showing up consistently and blowing up and doing something major on social media. Most people probably couldn't name 5 because most people aren't doing this. So no, it's not. You're seeing people from all across the country, around the world, who are on your feed. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of people. But I had 3,000 people in my high school. That's not a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Most people are not doing this. So just show up consistently. You'll be well ahead of the crowd. Well ahead of the crowd. Okay. Every time your content appears in somebody's feed, they pause, even briefly. Their brain is gonna log and remember that. And that's what we want. That's what we want to take advantage of. Okay. And you become more familiar to them. More familiar means more trusted. More trusted means I feel like I know her. And I feel like I know her is the beginning of that connection that you could turn it into something meaningful, a long term relationship that will turn into a transaction and all the things that come with that. Okay. But you want them to feel like they know you. Okay. And you do that, the fastest path to that, like I said, is focusing on what they got going on, not what you want to talk about in your shoe collection. I don't care unless it's solving a problem that I can relate to. Okay. So this is why consistency, if you got to pick 1 or 2 platforms, that is better than trying to be perfect on all 7. Okay? Because we're not here to go viral. We are here to become familiar. Familiarity is the neurological precondition for trust. Familiarity is a neurological precondition for trust. And y'all know, like, and trust. Connection is birthplace of all currency. Connection is what allows for trust to be formed because there's a connection there. I don't have no barriers up. You don't have any barriers up. True connection, guess what's going to happen? Trust. And then when I trust you, that's why they got it on your money, because once there's trust, they'll buy from you. I know she could solve it. I know she's gonna figure it out. I know it's gonna be good. I don't even know what she's talking about, but I just want to, let's go. It's gonna be great. There's trust. All right. So the second mechanism, the first one, so that's the mere exposure effect. The second one, social proof. We've heard this word, social proof. But it's so deeply wired into our human cognition, it's almost like a reflex. It's almost like a reflex. So when we're not sure about something, a decision, a person, something new we're trying, we don't know if something's worth our time, worth our energy, effort, focus, attention, worth our money. You know what we do? It's subconscious. It's programming. We look at what other people are doing. So think about, like, if you go, this is why, the reason why this WhatsApp group exists when I didn't attempt to do this at all, is because I would just stand in a place that should not be named and walk down the hall from my office and go in there with my whiteboard and talk, just like I'm talking to y'all crazy. I would get up there and, okay, so y'all, what we doing? What we talking about? What tell me about your business. What you got going on? And I'm like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Come up here. And everybody start laughing. Ha ha. So then they got to come up to it. It's like, ready, go. So I do the little film thing. It's like, da da da. And then I show them how to do a 5-star pitch. And then they would change. And overnight, the room would go from crickets to people cheering when they would do the pitch. So then they ask me questions. Well, what about this one? I'm trying to get this. And I'm thinking, da 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 da. So here's the thing. When you're in a live space like that, there's something powerful that happens. Community. That's why I encourage, I feel like I have to beg you guys to do this. Build a place that people can hang out before, during, and after a purchase. Why? Because if I'm sitting in a concert, it's one thing for me to hear this CD and I hear this song and I think this is the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. I go to a concert and I hear this same person singing. And I'm in the 7th row. And she get to the part of the song and I'm crying. And then I turn around, look up in the 3rd row and over here. And everybody's having the same feeling. It's a shared emotional experience. That's what a community is. So just by me doing that in the place that should not be named, people are like, oh, so it turned into a thing completely without me. I'm like, can I go home? Can I go to bed? It's 11 o'clock at night. They still out here eating vegan shrimp and all this. Shout out to chef. They didn't want to go home. It became a part of their identity. I still got people to this day I ain't seen in a minute, but if I see them in the street, oh my God, dog. And then they introduce themselves and they're like, I'm an OG. It does something different when you have a community of people who are feeling the same thing. So we look at what other people are doing. We use the behavior of the group as a shortcut for our own assessment. If a lot of people are having the same kind of feeling, A lot of people have decided that this is worth paying attention to. Your brain accepts that as evidence that it probably is. That's why we don't eat at restaurants that don't have no cars outside. I'm just saying, this is a real thing. Now, every now and then, that's incorrect, but sometimes that's a bad sign. You know what I mean? But a restaurant with a line outside looks more appealing than an empty one, even if you've never tried the food. Books that have hundreds or thousands of reviews tend to sell better, tend to do better in the algorithm than books with, just a few here and there, two or three or five. Look like your church, your people, your family, your grandmama, and the lady from church, and that was it. Ever read the book? That doesn't change the fact that it might be the best book in the world, but social proof matters. So having a social media presence, again, not hundreds of thousands of followers and all that, but people who are engaged, an engaged community. There's comments, there's shares, there's replies. Excuse me, people having real conversations. If you say, if you like the guy, comment this word right here, and people are responding. If you get 50, 60 of those on a post, that's a signal. There's real people out here. It signals trustworthiness for somebody who might have just got here today. You know what I'm saying? And that's why LinkedIn is such an overlooked platform for a lot of us, because we want to do business with businesses, corporations, and whatever. And then they go on your page and it says it still got you on there working at McDonald's in 1997. Like, it's not giving the work that you're doing right now. And I've had people in the house. I told them this. I'm talking about they got 30, 40 years of experience. They're doing all this amazing stuff. And I said, show me on your LinkedIn. Oh yeah, no, I'm not on. I hadn't updated my LinkedIn. Well, this don't go together. You telling me this all this great stuff, and I meet you, and then I look on the page and don't say none of that. This is cognitive dissonance. You're leaving money on the table. Your social media is a digital representation of you. If you are all this amazingness, I need to see that online, ma'am. That's what I need to see. If it's not on social media, it didn't happen. And again, you could build a very successful business without doing this, but then you're going to have to be so intentional about your networking games. And I'm not teaching that right now. I'm teaching this, okay? Because I actually have done that. But listen to what I'm saying. So you wanted to bypass and kind of speed up, collapse time. So the more you can show that there's a real community of engaged people, 20, 30, 40, 50 people out here locked in, clocking in, getting value, doing the thing when you post, that's what I'm talking about. When they see, other people building community around your work, tagging or sharing your posts, or they're able to share your post saying, see, look, we were just talking about this, and you're exactly what they were just talking about. That's how you go from a channel with 5 views to hundreds of views, because hundreds of people are having that experience and they want to share it with somebody else. Okay, so they don't register just information when that happens. They register that as social proof, evidence that other humans have already found this valuable. So that builds more trust in their brain than any credential, any testimonial, and all that kind of stuff. Professional bio, all the little stuff we want to pay the people, the branding and the Fiverr, and we want to hire a branding agency for $12,000 and do all of that. This is more impactful than that. Okay, so you can't manufacture this. We're not manufacturing it. You're building it intentionally by showing up, being consistent, and saying true things to real people who feel like you're talking directly to them. And then you're going to let the compound interest of this, that mere exposure and that social proof, accumulate into an engaged presence. And so now every time new people come, it compounds because they see, oh, there's proof. Then more people come on top of that. Oh, there's proof. And then more people come on top of that. This is the machine that I'm talking about. Okay, so back to the 7-11-4. 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, 4 platforms, there's 4 places of association. Okay. So you meet somebody at a conference, they go look you up, they find your podcast. Wow, you got 15 episodes, they're actually really good. Even if they don't get through all of them, they're like, this is amazing. Or they find some stuff on YouTube or YouTube playlist or something, they subscribe. They listen to a few episodes, driving home, driving to work, whatever. So they done already got 2 to 3 or 4 hours of the 7 hours in just by binging a couple of your episodes. So then one of the things you said, I posted this quiz on Instagram. So if you're not following me over there, follow me over there. So then she goes to your Instagram. That's platform number 2. Now they're watching. Now you come up in her reels and stories and daily stuff on there. If she sees one, it's like, and she replies to it. You respond. Boom, another touch point. She sees you go live on the community, and every day it's like, I don't got time. But one day she's like, let me take some time and jump out here and get on this live. Boom, another touch point. She's like, well, let me put my email on the thing to get to this lead magnet because that sounds like I need that. Platform number 4. Boom. Now she's been reading your emails for 2 weeks or so. She keeps seeing your name in her inbox, in her social feed, and wherever 11 times. She kept listening to your podcast and stuff. So she done got 6-7 hours in there. She on 4 different platforms, 11 touch points. So one morning she wakes up, she's like, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with this. I need to get some help. So she sends you a DM and it says, I've been following your work for a while. And I was wondering, are you taking new clients right now? What does that look like? You didn't do nothing. You just met her that one time. But 7 hours, 11 touch points, 4 platforms. Trust is already built. So by the time she gets on the phone with you, you don't have to sell anything. It's just a natural next step because you already formed the relationship. This is the power of social media. I'm just saying, you don't have to manufacture it. You don't have to sell nobody. You don't have to chase nobody down. You have to do all of that. You just show up consistently in multiple places over time, speaking to them, not speaking about what you want to talk about, but speaking about stuff that's already in their head. How do I know what's in their head? Because you've been talking out here doing your big 5, talking to humans, at least 50 humans, and you know exactly their problem language that they use because you've been using the Afro method, and that's what all your content is about. You got the problem pillars, the problem sets that we came up with the other day, and that's all you talk about. And this will activate this equation, 7-11-4. It'll work for you. You don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be an influencer, a mega influencer. You have to do all that. You, with the heart to serve people. You, just a regular entrepreneur out here with real expertise that you're willing to share with people and you're willing to show up. You will have money and people calling you to work with you. This is what happens when we get this right. Okay. So this is for the people who are listening and are like, that's beautiful, but I don't have an audience. I'm literally starting from zero. I don't have a community. I don't have any touch points. I don't have no content and all that kind of stuff. This is what we need to do. We're building it as we go. Okay. So everybody has an audience. Everybody who has an audience now started with nothing. Every podcast with 10,000 listeners and all of that, they did an episode where 9 people listened to it. Right? Every Instagram account that's out here with a vibrant community. I just love it. Everybody loves her stuff. When they first posted, they got 3 likes. And one of them was her grandmama. Right? Every email list that's converting. One of my favorite guys that's now a coach of mine, he's making $100 million every time he does a launch, which is crazy. But when he started, it wasn't that. Okay? It always starts with one person, 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, and you show up and do it again, do it again, do it again. This is the cadence. This is what separates you, again, from 98% of people, because most people are not going to show up through this time. And this is how we learn. This is how we get good at showing up and having a conversation that we know is engaging people because they saved it. We know it's engaging people because they sent a comment. We know it's engaging people because they shared it. We know it's engaging people because they sent us a DM after. They keep reading it. They keep checking it every time. They're always on it. As soon as I post something, bam, they're on it. That's how you know. So 7-11-4 is the engine. It's not a finish line. It's an engine. This is what's happening in the background. Every time you show up, you're feeding the fuel. The 7-11-4 is the engine. You showing up is the fuel. Okay. Every piece of content that you post is accumulating towards somebody having a 7-11-4 moment with you. That's the job. Are we committed to this now? Depth. We want depth of connection. It's not, can I go viral and just get a bunch of random people to see my, no, we're not here for ego. That's why you got to settle that. You got to have the law of detachment in full effect. You got to, your ego cannot be involved in this work. We're high value entrepreneurs. We already know that we're the value. I don't need you to validate that because I know I'm the value. What are we talking about? What are we saying? I'm here to have clarity and focus, and I'm holding space. People need what I'm talking about right now. I help Black people get off the matrix. We're going to get in motion by resetting our identity and doing the big five every day. That's number one. Then we're going to make connection our obsession. We're going to build an engine that brings us new people who want to do what we need them to do all the time. And we do that by mastering social media. Then we're going to get into mastery by building systems that protect this infrastructure, this brand. Once you get this right and it's working like a pinball machine, and you go, and every time it goes from I just met you now to currency. It is working. Now we protect that. Don't let nobody come in here and break the system. That's what we do here. That's what I can teach you how to do. That's my 1, 2, 3. What are we talking about? When you ready to get off the financial grid and do the thing, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So everybody who's signed up for that, I need that. Then that's what we do here. Period. So I'm about to start a show. I finally decided I am going to start going live at 5. I don't know how many days a week, and I'm just literally going to call it Better Call Doc. And it's going to be a version of what we used to do in Place That Should Not Be Named, where people come and ask all these random questions that they have, and we're overcomplicating a lot of stuff in our business. But I'm gonna help everybody find some clarity and get centered, so we can go out here and get this money. That's also where we can workshop and go a little deeper on social media strategies, because I don't have time to do that in our other stuff. Although these last 30 days of the 100-day challenge, we're going to be doing it at 2:00 as well. So this is an equalizer. Remember, before social media, 711 was only available if you had resources. So if you were a published author, you got your work published in a magazine, a newspaper, you got you a syndicated column, or you got a book published by a major publisher, then you could get the book in the hands of a lot of people. If you're on television, you could get all this airtime, but you had to have a network. If you were a public speaker, it used to be a lot harder to do that. And you could start showing up and getting a booking fee, and you needed a speaker's bureau and an agent and all this kind of stuff. Gatekeepers were the ones in charge, deciding who got access to people enough times and repetition, who got on the magazine cover, who got on the radio, who got on the interview, and all of that. They were able to control that infrastructure. And that is what determined who's visible and who's valued. That infrastructure is now free, democratized, available to anyone on a phone or device that you already own. This is the greatest equalizer in the history of business. This is the greatest opportunity to all of human history when it comes to making connection, learning anything you want to learn, and turning that knowledge, applying that knowledge so you can make some money. Because where wisdom is, that's where you go find the money. That's where the money resides. Okay? So that's not making everything equal. Nothing does that. But it gives us equal access to this machine that turns straw into gold. I put attention in, clarity in, and I get the attention, time, energy, effort, focus, and attention of another human being back out. And that trust gets built in a way that it would have required a whole bunch of other people and resources to do in the past. Okay? It's in your hands. I feel like the little cartoon people. The power is in your hands, the Captain Planet. Y'all know I'm on the board. Okay, so are we ready to embrace this tool, this magnificent tool that's going to build trust for us on autopilot? And if so, let me give you the breakdown of the 7 platforms, the way that I see them, the way that you need to see them, so you can decide which one or ones you want to focus on first, because they're not all the same, obviously. Okay? Everyone is different, has a different use case. They've changed over the years, but here we go. YouTube. The reason why I said there's an opportunity for most, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to suggest that somebody has a YouTube presence, because this is the library, the long game. It's literally a search engine, right? It's not social media in the way that most people think about social. although you can do little posts and notes and shorts and things that you couldn't do before. Instagram, when you go on there, you're just kind of browsing and flipping. You didn't really go for anything specific. The platform, serves you up some content and you decide in real time whether or not you care. Same thing with TikTok. Anything with a short format is like that. But YouTube, in the traditional sense, is different from that. It's a search engine. It's actually the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the largest, as y'all know. So when somebody goes to YouTube, typically they have a question. Sometimes they still will go on Google, ask the question, and the answer will come back, and some YouTube videos will pop up as suggestions, right? Or they might type something into a search bar because they're actively trying to solve a problem or learn something specific, trying to see what's going on, hear about a certain topic. They're already seeking. So that changes the nature of the relationship. And everything on YouTube basically serves as evergreen content. So a video that you made 3 years ago, a new viewer can come in today just because they were looking for this problem. It does not expire. Whereas Instagram or the TikTok, some of these is a lot more work for me to sit here and try to scroll all the way back through, what you posted 5 years ago or something. It's just not set up like that, right? YouTube is designed to accumulate. So every video becomes this permanent asset that keeps working for you, even when you stop thinking about it. It's compounding. So it's a library. It's not just a feed that you scroll, scroll, scroll. It's a library. It also builds a different level of trust because if you got 10, 15, 30-minute videos on there, and you can do a podcast on YouTube now, so same thing. Somebody watches the whole episode, they come back for another one. You got playlists at the end of your video. You tell them to watch the next one, stuff like that. And they start doing that. They're spending real time with you. So you're building a different kind of relationship with longer form content than you are through a series of 60-second clips. So it's converting faster because when you make an offer, the viewer already feels like they know you. They've spent enough time with you. Okay, so don't treat YouTube like a highlights reel. And I know they got shorts on there, but just stick with me. Anything that you do in a short form, it could go on TikTok, it could go on Reels on Instagram, and it could go on YouTube Shorts. So I'm not talking about TikTok at all, but when I talk about Instagram, apply that to TikTok. You want to be on TikTok, fine. I'm talking about traditional YouTube, okay? Where it's a longer format, even if it's 6-10 minutes. Longer format, you're being very specific, you're being useful, you're writing your titles and your hooks. We talked about this in a way that somebody might type a question if they were searching for it. So, like, instead of a title being My Journey to Success, you might have a title like Why Your Content Isn't Converting and the One Shift That Changed Everything for Me. Totally different thing. Same video, but the way you position it, you know what I mean? So that's why we have to study inside of social media mastery. So YouTube is if you have expertise that you could teach, you're comfortable talking on camera for 10, 15, 20, up to 45 minutes, or some people go much longer, obviously. And you know that you want a library of content that you can point people to where they can go find it, which all these other platforms are not made for that. So even if you make a video, they're just going to get lost in ether. Nobody's going to find your old videos, but they will on YouTube. Okay. Number 2, email. We talked a lot about this earlier this week. This is the only asset that you actually own and control. Every other platform is rented, right? Because TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of them, they can shut you down. Just wake up and just your access has been denied to this account or whatever. It's like, wait, why? It happens every day. You have tens of millions of followers on there and they can shut you down. Your email list, you control. You own this. You're not renting, you own it. So it's not social media in the traditional sense, but I bring it to this conversation because, like I said, this is the infrastructure that makes everything else sustainable. So Substack allows you to capture people's emails as they subscribe, which we like that. But we want to bring it over to an email autoresponder where you can schedule. Because somebody asked that question yesterday, can you schedule? Of course, you can schedule your post on Substack, but I was thinking email. You can't schedule an email. Like, I want this email to go out next Friday. Da, 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 da. It don't work like that. So we want to think about email as a separate system that we have in our business. So people who understand the importance of email can build something very quietly and make your money and do what you need to do while everybody else is still chasing views and followers and all these vanity metrics. Okay. So the most important thing, like I said, you don't own your Instagram following. You don't own your YouTube subscribers. If they change the algorithm tomorrow, you could be shadow banned, you get flagged, nothing. But your email list belongs to you, travels with you. If you move and switch platforms, you can just tell people, hey, find me on Substack. Hey, now I'm over here. No algorithm can just wake up and take it away. They sign up on purpose. They raise their hand. They put their thing in a little form and they say, yes, I would like to hear more from you. Okay, so it has a different quality of relationship versus somebody who passively is following you or who just clicked the post that was funny that one time, but they're not really checking for you like that, if that makes sense. So email is proven to convert better than social media still to this day. And that's just because this is a warm list of people who already said yes, they want to hear more from you. All right. Now, make sure we talked about this too, but make sure you well, everything you post on social media has a job, all this connection that we keep talking about, but also to bring people off of that platform onto your list. You want to do a call to action, you want to be building this list. And then when you write those emails that they get after they join the list, it should feel like a letter from you. Like you're texting a really close friend or somebody who's going through exactly what your ideal client is going through, something very direct, specific, human, giving them something real that they can feel before you really asking them for anything. Okay. Something that they can only get from you specifically. So we don't want to build this list from day one. We don't want to wait. Okay. I got 5 more. Platform number 3, live events and public speaking. This is kind of like the original social media, and I talked about that. This is the first way to go from one to many. Standing on the stage, being in a public speaking, participating in somebody else's event or whatever. It, like I said, it's something that happens where you get a physical experience of what it means to be in community. When you see, a whole stadium of people singing the same songs at the top of their lungs, it's different. It just does something different to you. And the people in the room or who are listening to you, responding to you, and all of that, they get the sense that I'm not alone in this. So sharing a moment in real time, speaking on stages is a great way to bring people into your world, add people. All of this is landing back on your email list. Okay. But it's a great way to do that. It's just different. You get on stage, you do the thing, and then you get off stage and somebody comes and stands in line and shakes your hand and say, oh my God, I want to work with you. It's different. Okay. So you get to build a different kind of relationship when you intentionally start showing up on live stages. So, and then all the people that you meet and the responses that you get and things that they reacted to, you gave this speech, you did all this, you said this, you said that. These are the 3 things I share with this audience at this place and this time. So I got somebody in my network, I'm not gonna call his name, but y'all probably seen him all over social media. And now he figured out that having millions of followers on social media does not pay any bills. So now he's trying to figure that out. But he's still doing the same mistake that I keep telling y'all, which is acting like a celebrity on social media. So he will post and say, so great to have spoken. He spoke in my alma mater. Just spoke at Harvard last week. So awesome to be here. And he posts the video of him standing in front of the little step and repeat thing in front of, whatever. And then people were like, ooh, yay, ooh, like, cause ooh, like, ooh, you're blowing up or whatever. It's praise, which is not the same as I gave the speech of my life at Harvard last week. There are 3 things that I think everybody needs to know because the world is changing and nobody's talking about it. So check out this video where I'm gonna tell you this is what we need to talk about. This is what we need to be. Why is nobody talking about this? It's gonna get a totally different response, right? So think about your social media from the standpoint of the person you're posting to, who's looking at it, not just like, yay, look at them, they're famous. Yay, look at them, they're on the red carpet. Yay, look at them, they're at this place. Yay, look at them, they got an award. I told you about that kindergarten stuff. Oh, look at them, they got the thing. Look at that. The certificate. Nobody cares. Don't do that on your LinkedIn. Okay. And also, when you go on a live stage, take the opportunity to bring that back to your social audience and give them some value, some sense of what happened in the event. Okay. Platform number 4, Instagram/Facebook. I do not separate them out in my mind because Facebook is kind of old school, but listen, Facebook groups are still very powerful community building tools. They work. A lot of people, most of the folks are probably on Facebook from high school or whatever. And that's fine. They're 35 and older, but they're more community oriented. They rock with you because they know you from back in the day and all kinds of things. Okay, it's fine. So it's nothing wrong with that. But you want to make sure you're broadcasting or you're sharing, posting, not to be just broadcasting, but to be in real conversation, adding real value, making sure you're building trust. Uh, Facebook group, Facebook groups rather still work. They do. They do. But I'm talking about Instagram specifically. Now, Instagram has gotten oversaturated by the celebrity model that I'm talking about. The highlight reel, the aesthetics, everything is perfectly polished, everything looks perfect, it's influencer culture and all this kind of stuff. Endless performance, curated life. Okay, that's fine. But I'm not here for that. I'm not concerned about that. A lot of people, the smarter you are, again, we're over a certain age and you look at all these and you're just like, oh, everything I post has to be perfect. It has to be amazing. It has to be and that's not what we're doing. Nobody told you this, so I need you to understand this. The feed, like scrolling on what's on your feed or the reels that you see or whatever, that's like a window display. When you're walking down the street in New York City and you look in a big window, that's the window display. The DMs is actually where real conversations happen. It's like the store. So you post stories, reels, window, but your job is to get people to after they see who you are, what you have to offer, what kind of value you bring, you want to attract those people into a conversation with you, which happens off that platform in a DM, or they comment a word and then you send them an automated link back and they get on your email list or whatever. Or if they send you a voice message because something in the post spoke directly to them, so they wanted to reach out to you and see if there's an opportunity to work together. Right? That's that's the point. So everything on the front side of Instagram looks so polished that it don't have to be polished. But the goal is to make somebody feel something so they'll come off the platform and talk to you directly. Okay. This is how you initiate conversation. You're responding. You're turning. It's not a broadcast channel. You're not just look at me. You want to get great again at building connections. And if you post everything you post is like a little soldier that works for you. Now you can go to bed and somebody could be scrolling at 3 in the morning and they're seeing the stuff and then they take another step with you. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So you need both. They need to see your stuff and then send you a comment, get in the messages, and you can automate that. If you don't know how to do that, it's in the social media thing. Substack, 3 more. Substack is still the most underestimated platform right now. And if you are a writer, you love to write, that's where I want you to show up. It's a newsletter platform, but it has a built-in discovery mechanism. That's the notes thing that I talked about. So you get the email list in the sense of the way that they subscribe is with an email address. So we like that as opposed to just a random subscriber. You still don't know how to contact them. So that's getting you closer to having an owned audience, an asset that could travel with you because you can just download an Excel, a CSV file, and you have all your emails right there. Okay. But then you also have the ability to be discovered by strangers who are specifically interested in the category that you write about. And you can go live and do, chat and do other stuff on there too. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. But this format rewards your depth, your nuance. I've read some of the best articles ever on Substack. Like people are going all the way in, they're giving full tutorials on this, and that. Who wouldn't want to follow and subscribe to that? They're giving me my whole life. Specifically, they're doing really well over there when it comes to, learning how to use Claude and some of these tools. Like people are going in. That's why I get so upset. I actually be getting bad. I'm like, I got experts on this in my group. Why aren't they showing up like this? If I can get people to show up and just put your expertise, put your brilliance on display, people are looking for you. So let them find you. So Substack is really, really good in that sense. It attracts readers who actually want to read, who actually want to think, who actually want to sit down with a 1,500 word piece because they got time today. You know what I mean? Like they're here for it. That's the kind of viewer you want. Similar to YouTube. People who will spend that kind of time with you. That's who you want. They're not just here to be entertained and all that. So Substack is going to automatically self-select into the type of people that could ultimately convert into serious clients. People who value depth, who invest time in learning, who came for receipts. So I've seen several people do this where they'll go on YouTube and bring up a topic And then they'll say, if you want all the receipts and all the details, go to my Substack because you can go even more in depth. So that's for me where my scholarship is going to live is on Substack. Like what I just, all this I'm sharing today, some version of this with the neuroscience needs to be on Substack. Okay. Um, but these are the same kind of people who will be willing to invest money in the expertise that they trust. Okay. So if you have a point of view, specific, developed, not generic perspective, Substack is a great place for that. It's not just a collection of posts. This is your body of work, accumulates over time. It's like an intellectual legacy. You know what I'm saying? It speaks for you even when you're not promoting yourself. Because the other thing that's cool is you can redesign your landing page. It almost is like a little magazine because all your little articles, you could change the layout. It's kind of cool. So it's not a social media platform in the sense of just being short and punchy, although you can do that in notes. It's really like a newsletter. So take them somewhere, give them the essay, the story, the analysis, things that you learned over the years, all that stuff. Give them something they can't get 60 seconds somewhere else. Okay, that's what you do with Substack. Two more. LinkedIn, professional trust. It's the most underused asset. Again, most people are not using LinkedIn to their full advantage, and I don't know why. Literally, only 2% of people are actually posting anything other than, yay, I got this award. Yay, I got this promotion. So 98% of people, that's all they post, if that. So let's join the 2% club, okay? So if you are a service-based, heart-centered entrepreneur, coach, consultant, you ever want to potentially, even if you don't want to serve business clients, a lot of your individual clients are on LinkedIn. Okay, so it's one of the highest converting platforms available according to the research, and it is underused, particularly for entrepreneurs who maybe have left corporate America. They just don't use it. They think, oh, it's not for me anymore, but it is. Okay, so when somebody reads your post on LinkedIn, they're in work mode. So they're thinking about their business, they're trying to network, they're thinking about growth, they're thinking about their career, thinking about their team, which means they're explicitly open. When they're on LinkedIn, they're open to ideas about how to do something better, whether it's their job or professional challenge that they're currently living. If they're entrepreneurs, they're trying to think about how to, get better partnerships or how to, make more money or whatever. So they're already in that context in their mind. So the distance from them consuming your content to becoming a client is actually shorter on LinkedIn than it would be, say, on Instagram, because they didn't come here for that on Instagram. All right. The audience on LinkedIn also kind of skews heavy towards people who actually going to spend some money and buy something. Okay. Purchasing power, decision makers, business owners, people who can say, yes, they got a job. A lot of them still got jobs. Okay. They can say, or they control the budget at their corporation or something like that. So they can make a meaningful investment and, do what they need to do. If you're serving professionals, business owners, or corporate decision makers, that's where they are on LinkedIn, right? Every day. And they're looking for you. So you need to show up. And LinkedIn's algorithm right now is still rewarding, is still a window of time, rewarding people who move early. Because people are scrolling and reading, but they're not creating. And if you show up, it's going to make a difference. You can blow up your followers really quickly, make sure that, your stuff is in the feed and people are seeing it every day. And you could really develop a unique voice because, again, most people are showing up super corporate. Very few people are showing up in a way that's authentic, that's providing real value and making a real human connection on LinkedIn. So I think it's a huge underrated platform, but that's the way you need to think about it. And your content will be rooted in their specific professional problem. Somebody reads it, they recognize themselves, and then they comment or they want to reach out, make a connection. Okay. Then you send them a DM and not just your offer or whatever, but you're talking about them, what they got going on, invite them to a conversation, whatever the case may be. You'll get better results over there. Okay. Everybody already knows how impressive you are. They already know that. Nobody cares. Okay. So posting credentials and accomplishments and case studies, no. That's not what we're doing. They want to know if you understand their problem well enough to help them solve it. So always lead with the problem. I can't say that enough. And then finally, podcasting, which again, you could do this on YouTube now, or you could choose to do it on the traditional podcast platforms. Most people do video podcasts in this day and age, and that's fine too. But this is a platform that lets you build intimacy. Nothing is more intimate than a podcast. And now, also, like I said, it could be a video podcast, but same thing, because you are basically going live. It's kind of like live streaming in the sense of, even if you have a script or whatever, but somebody usually listens to a podcast, if they're intentionally, you could do it on Substack as well, by the way. But if you're intentionally listening to a podcast, that means they got their earbuds on. They're probably alone. They might be driving in the car. They're walking or at the gym and they're doing dishes. Um, they're in the grocery store, whatever. So you're building a neurological relationship that's almost indistinguishable from the relationship that's formed with a real person when you do a podcast, which I didn't intend to do, but that's what my WhatsApp is, basically a podcast. Only reason I got to put it on these other platforms is so that it's easier to play on all podcast players. So you like are hearing me talking as you're doing whatever you're doing, running around the house. The kids are listening, people playing it loud in the house, whatever's going on. So the brain cannot register the difference between a voice in their ear and a voice that's sitting across the table from them. So that helps to build trust with your listeners. That's why Joe Rogan was able to sway the last election. Okay. Podcast host is one of the most powerful trust relationships in modern media. So think about that. Everybody's not going to do a podcast. I totally understand that. Some people have podcast ideas. Think about what it means for your business if you choose to leverage this. When you put your voice, which again, well designed, longer form YouTube videos serve the same purpose because people listen to YouTube. I mean, it's literally a podcast format on there now, but people listen to YouTube the way they listen to podcasts now. So when someone puts your voice in their ear during the morning commute, before the noise starts, when they're still with themselves in the car or whatever, you say something real, something true, something that lands for them, and they're in this quiet space, you're making a real connection that you can't replicate anywhere else. You're not a content creator at that point. There's a trust there. Okay. So when you have a friend that you trust and they make a recommendation, when they say, I built something just for you, and they say, here's the next step, is what you do, you probably gonna be like, yup, let me go ahead and do that. So the conversion rate, when you position this correctly, is going to be the highest of any of these medium. And again, with the caveat that you can do this on Substack, you can do this on YouTube because people listen to podcasts on those platforms. Okay. But you could put it on Spotify, you can put it on Patreon, you could put a podcast where podcasts live. Okay, Apple, obviously. Because by the time the listener reaches out to you and you got long form content and they're listening, you're checking the box of 7-Eleven for it faster than anybody else. Because if you're doing 60-second reels and I'm talking for 2 hours every day, I'm gonna blow past 7 hours. And what they gotta listen to 300-400 of your shorts to hit my same 7 hours that I got in 2-3 days. So by the time somebody reaches out to you, they raise their hand and they're like, wait a minute. We're not selling anything. They're already ready. They're like, okay, what I gotta do? They spent hours with you. They know how you think. They know how you address the problem. They trust that your judgment is correct. They've already made all these decisions in their head. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to close anybody. You're just giving them a vehicle for a decision that they already came to on their own. This is the easiest way, the fastest way to make money, is to start showing up on social media. This is why I'm preaching. I could be doing something else right now. I want to go outside. It's warm outside today. By the way, you guys are invited to this event. Do you want to go to a Tory Burch event tomorrow? Um, I'll put it in the WhatsApp. If you're in Atlanta, you're invited. Okay. You could do, because I don't know if I'm gonna go. It's so bad. Every time I think I'm back outside, then something happens with my family. I'm trying to get everybody together. But anyway, you're invited. But you could do solo episodes, just you, your voice, your perspective, your thinking, which builds that personal authority. You could do interview episodes, bringing on guests, talk about conversations, stuff like that. And that's gonna build, your network. It's a great way to build your network. If you don't know as many people as you want to know in your field, start an interview podcast. It's brilliant. But you can start solo. You can mix in guests from time to time. Okay. So I'm not even talking about the super produced, like deep storytelling with the sound effects and the music and all. I'm not even talking about all that. I'm just talking about you having a conversation with your audience in a way that's intentional, structured, but you're dropping gems every time you talk. Like somebody I know I've been saying this for at least a year and a half. Connection is the birthplace of all currency. Somebody put in the WhatsApp, this landed for me today. It's just, you know what I mean? It's fine. People go get it on their own time. So the mistake is launching a podcast before you know who you're making it for and what specific problem you're addressing in every episode. So this is not a place to just ramble and kind of think out loud. You have to deliver with consistency and specificity the exact conversation that your listener needed on that episode. So this is kind of advanced, you know what I'm saying? If you want to build up to the point where you do your podcast, because by the time you start talking, it needs to hit every time. It can't be, ooh, I heard an episode that was really cool. The next one, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what she talked about. You don't want to do that to your audience. So every episode should feel like it was made for one specific person going through one specific thing. And once you crack that code, lots of people are going to fit that profile and love to hear you speak. So if you love to speak, you have consistent things to say, you're willing to commit to a rhythm of how you're going to show up, a little format, so you have some consistency in there, you can build deep trust that you can't build any other way with a podcast. Okay. So I'm done. My job on today was to show you in every way that the power is yours. You can take this machine known as social media, take the inputs, all the conversations, all your expertise, all the people that you've learned and worked with, talked to over the years and stuff, put it into this machine and come out the other side with money. Striving to gold. Social media. Don't play with it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. So, any comments, questions, concerns, challenges, feedback, perspectives, or personal story time before we hop off today? This is the greatest opportunity ever in human history. Like, literally. Totally. So we can live stream, y'all. We can do live shopping. If you don't even know what that is, there's so many ways to just get to the bag. And anything over $200, $300, $400, $500 a day, you're in just a different category. And I know we could do it. I know you could do it. If you couldn't do it, I would pull you to the side and I would say, what are you doing now? What are we working on? Maybe we need to, have you thought of other things? You know what I'm saying? I would tell you that. But if you got clarity and every time you speak, people are like, yes to this, you can get on social media and go get your money.
Doll.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you so much for this. All this information is very valuable. I have been trying to figure out how to do these website office hours, because I do want to show up in longer form content, specifically on YouTube, I think. But with my profession, there is sensitive information. So I don't think I'll do lives.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will do is record the session, like get permission, and maybe record the session, and then I'll be able to kind of chop it up, right. I think, and then be able to use it towards, articles and other posts.
Exactly.
Is my plan. So yeah, what do you think about not doing it live?
Yeah, it's perfect. Live is like an extra layer of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All of this can be pre-recorded and edited and chopped up, on your own at your own.
Because I did think about doing it live, but then I have two people that I have set up that have some issues that I would think that would be great to record.
Mm-hmm.
So my first one is on Monday, and I'm trying to figure out like a script, I guess, or like something to go by. I already know the problem, and she gave me the her credentials so I could access the website so I can kind of see what's happening. And she walked me through her problem already. So
I love it. Yeah, think of it like
am gonna somehow use all of this to create a video.
yes, you can do it. Think of it like a format. Just even though it's not a show, think of it like a show. If you were a third party watching this session, you just want to guide your listener or your viewer, if that makes sense. So it's like
Right.
you get in there and you state your mission, you know what you always say, this is what I do, I help people to da 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 da. And then it's like, today, you know, thank you so much for jumping on. Tell us a little bit about, not us, but you know what I'm saying. Talk about your company or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So whether she lets you use it or not, but like you have that part where she explains her company, and then it's like, oh, what's the problem that you're facing with the website, and da 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 da. And then, okay, let's go in the back end and let's do this, you know. And you do the thing, and she's talking, blah, 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 blah. And then any questions that she asks, and if she doesn't ask questions, maybe you have a couple of questions.
Oh, I already have some questions. Right. That would be good to bring up, because there's several different, like it's one issue that she's having, but there are several, at least 3 or 4 touch points that other people deal with.
Yes.
And they're not all just the technical part.
There you go.
So you know, it has to do with customers and how they go through the flow, and like, what do you want them to do, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. But yeah, I'm trying to get some kind of format, like an intro, and then I have no idea.
No, but we just
what I'm gonna do.
You do. That's another thing I want y'all to do in terms of moving.
So it doesn't have to be like a music, you know how people do music intros and all that.
No.
Okay.
I mean, yay, but no. It's literally, cool. What up, y'all? Today we're gonna figure out how to get your customers from being stuck. Okay. And then it's like, I'm Micaiah, this is what I do, my company's blah blah blah, your mission statement, you know, the elevated one. Right. And here we go. And then she talks about the company, and
then I'll introduce her, and okay, so like a show, kind of. Yeah. Like it's I guess. Yeah, it's not quite a podcast, but we will be interacting. And I'm going to do it through Zoom, I think, because that is easiest to record for me. And then, I'll just have to figure out, I guess, how to repurpose it.
Absolutely.
But that's why I'm glad I'm in this course.
Example, I think this might give you some ideas. If I'm correct, his name is I'll make sure this is the one, but I think basically they sit there and they review. They go through people's podcasts. Well, not websites. But they go through people's podcasts in like real time. Like that's the show.
Okay.
And so I think that might give you some ideas.
Right. Because there is someone that she shows up on LinkedIn randomly, but she says she goes through people's websites, like from beginning to end, to kind of see the whole picture.
That would be another one. I would go see what she's doing and pull some ideas from that. Yep. But think of it like a show in the sense that I'm intentionally doing this for somebody to come and watch it.
Right.
And so we just guide them through that process, viewing journey. Yes.
Okay. And this is normally I do it myself. Like I'm like, okay, what's the problem? I'll go in and fix it for you. So this is a much different take on it. So it'll be interesting.
Once you demonstrate it, I'm telling you, people can see themselves and like, oh, she did that for them. What could she do for me? Like it will turn into that for them very, very quickly. Yeah.
Okay. And then also I was thinking that I would walk her through what to do instead of me actually doing it for her. What do you think about that angle?
That's up to you. Depends on kind of how long that takes in terms of the teaching process and kind of how that flows.
She built it herself. So she made her own menu and all of that. So I'm trying to think.
I like that because I think that would reinforce the idea that, you know what, you could do this yourself.
Right.
But then when you need my help, I got you.
Some smaller things, like, I mean, this isn't necessarily small, but it could be a problem that other people are having and they don't have time.
And then
or they don't.
So boom, that's added value. There's layers of that. Because now it's like, oh, she done broke down how to do all this stuff. It's
pretty much.
I got to watch. I got to save it type thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then.
That's what I'm thinking.
Since
that people can go Zoom, there.
You can edit. If it takes a longer time to get to a point, you can always just chop it and make it shorter.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah, because I have no idea how long this will take. Like, I know how long it would take me, but to do it virtually and to actually help her through the screen will be interesting.
And I think this is a lab coat moment for you. Shout out to Aja.
Yeah.
Because if this idea has been noodling in your head for a minute, just like your event.
It has.
Just like your event.
Right. You're right. I've just been trying to figure out how to do it.
So now we have an idea.
I know now. I think I know. And I have a person for it. So I'm like, you know what? We're doing it this week.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm starting my series.
So if you said if it's happening Monday or whenever, I would just work through it in my mind. I would visualize the whole thing. So I'm about to send you this right now. I think this is it. And the lady that you just said that goes through websites, just anything that you can kind of glean and pull some ideas from, and then walk yourself through a format. Okay, I'm gonna start like this, and then I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then she's gonna say this, and then we're gonna go through this, and then I'm gonna ask my questions about the emotional challenges of why all of the things, and then I'm gonna have some kind of outro, and that's it.
Okay.
And kind of visualize it before you get on there, and then it's exciting.
Yeah, I've already started visualizing the beginning part. But yes, I'm going to get some kind of format. I feel like that I can probably follow for the rest of the episodes after this.
Absolutely.
And then maybe I'll have something where people can submit to have their problem fixed.
There you go.
Or something,
there you
more
go.
people.
There you go.
Yeah. So excited.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Let me see. Anybody else got something to say before we jump off? I see y'all streaming. Thank y'all for being here on a good Saturday. Why not learn how to make some money on a Saturday? We like money every day. You know what I'm saying? Not just Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? We want it all the time. So thank y'all for being here, spending your afternoon with me. I hope that I've encouraged you that you can do this too. We could do this. Hey, Tracy, go for it.
Well, thank you for your healing words this morning. I appreciate your help because I was definitely going through it. I'm now getting more clarity based on what you said today on my pricing structure because I noticed that when I talk to people, I don't know, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And then I'm like, so you pick, what do you want to do? And it's like, they're looking at me like, this is either really Zen or you don't know what the hell you're selling. So I'm hearing a lot of different things. So now I have clarity on what I want to give. And it's okay. It's okay for there to be price points that don't have everything in it. Because I'm like, okay, online and in person. I'm like, no, I think this one price point would just be for the online stuff. And then this one will be for the in-person. And then the next one will be for one-on-one. So I'm feeling the clarity in that today, especially with clients that I don't feel like I've built that much social capital with, but just in meeting me, they were able to move forward, especially men. And I think that's because maybe they sense something. They're able to move forward and move. And right now I'm at Indian Springs State Park getting some spring water and just doing my yoga outside like I normally do. And then they were asking, and I was telling them about the hot flash. They're like, oh, I was telling them, what do you do for sciatica? I was showing them some stretches, and they're like, can I have your card? And they're like, I'm definitely going to be calling you. I was like, okay. So I didn't get anyone's number. I wanted to keep it kind of casual, yet
I just need to stop you with that. I got to stop you from doing that. Because you call me this morning and say, man, I needed to do this and that. And then you get out there and they'll say they're interested. When they say they're interested, they have given you permission to get their information. So what you need to get used to doing is saying, wonderful, let me add you to our email list. So it's not like, give me your number. It's not like a personal thing. It's not like, let me put your number in my phone, give me your digits. It's not that, but it's like, them having your card is like you putting up a billboard. So they might call you, they might disappear. They might be intending to call you and lose the card before they get home. We don't know what's going to happen. Versus if they say, oh yeah, I'm really interested. They say, oh great, let me add you to our email list. We have a great community. You'll get some, whatever, and you get their information. Now you're in control of what happens next. Now you put them in the 7-Eleven for equation versus That's why I always say I don't hand out flyers. It's not because flyers are bad. It's just because I don't control what happens after that.
That makes sense. I normally ask people for their Instagram, I think, most of the time, but I think I'm going to start saying that then.
Yeah.
What would you say? Let me add
let
you
me
to
add you to our email list.
email list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you have a Substack, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, let me
Right.
just, so you can, we got tips and stuff. And you can still get their Instagram. You can still also,
Right.
get their phone number or whatever. But that email,
Lead with the email.
It's different. Yes.
Okay.
And that way, if you have some free value or something, they can go ahead and get that. It can be another touch point.
So should I say email or my Substack? What do you think is?
I don't think it matters as long as they know what Substack is. Number one.
I was gonna say, do most people know what Substack
I'm not sure.
is? Hopefully.
That's something you could try.
Okay.
But also, as long as they're gonna, it's more about the free thing. Like basically, if you had something free that they can get, give me your email so I can go ahead and get you this tool.
Okay.
That's what they care about.
Which would be Substack for now, because that's where my resources are. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tracy, but that's how important that is. So if all hearts and minds are clear, y'all, let's do this again tomorrow. I'm going to tell you how to build a currency stack. So we'll kind of have a checklist. We'll do a big audit on, do I have everything that I need to really go fully hard in the paint and on social media? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And making sure you're not dropping, let anything fall through the cracks as you start to turn up, because people will start reaching out to you. You want to make sure that you're ready to kind of receive all that energy. So we're going to do a big audit tomorrow. It's day 67 tomorrow. We're getting close to posting every day for 30 days, including the weekend, starting on day 71. So I'll see y'all again tomorrow. And then, of course, on Monday. But every day at 2 o'clock. So until then, I got to go. We got to go. I'm out. Pew!